Matt, what's your take on it?
Good morning, gents. Yeah, my take on it is that protesting obviously can cause problems and stuff, but I think a lot of the United fans that are out there at the minute feel like they've got nothing. They've got nothing else that they can do. We've been sick of the Glazers for years. They've almost pretty much run our club into the ground almost. But the fans are left feeling powerless and left feeling that there's nothing else they can do other than go and protest and other than go and do these things. And, we shouldn't condone the actions, but, at the same time, thankfully no one was hurt this morning.
Yes, true.
As far as we're aware anyway.
Matt,
so thankfully,
yeah. Can I ask you, besides the outrageous way they've bought your football club and the fact that they've loaded it with debt, why in your view, have they run Man United into the ground? You're still amongst the higher echelons of football. You still buy the best players in the world. Why, as a Man United fan, have they run your club into the ground?
Well, to be honest, it's more of the appointments. Like when Sir Alex was in charge, Sir Alex was, he is a genius, and he didn't really need any assistance or anything like that when it comes to the ethos of Man United and trying to have the style of play that they wanted to play and buy the players that they wanted to play. Whereas, when newer managers have come in and tried to kind of remodel that, I want to say they haven't really been back. Moyes wasn't really back financially, but the others kind of were. But it was kind of, they're kind of going for the glory signings rather than,
how's that the Glazers? They're making bad decisions like all football club owners do. They're allowing managers to buy the wrong players. But how, again, I'm trying to understand, not that I disagree, but how is it that these Glazers, I know they take dividends, I know they profit out of it, but so does everybody else. So do the agents that get paid £20 million out of Man United signings. So do the players that get £300 million a year in wages. So I'm trying to understand, besides the way that they bought the club, which people don't like, why the Glazers that buy £80 million centre-backs and £60 million Bruno Fernandez's, why have they ruined your club?
Because, the appointment of Ed Woodward, for example. Now, Ed Woodward was... They knew the Glazers from before. He was part of the deal because he used to work for, if I'm not mistaken, JP Morgan.
Yep.
And they appointed Ed Woodward, who is a businessman. And
yep. As was David Gill. As was David Gill.
Business-wise. But it was, in terms of a kind of footballing aspect, there was no kind of support between Ed Woodward and then underneath, and my perception was that Ed Woodward didn't really have an understanding of football. I could be wrong. He could be a football genius, but my perception was that he wasn't really on a.
Isn't the reality, level. Matt? Sorry to cut across you. Isn't the reality is that you're not winning very much? And David Gill, who's a businessman as well, who I know, and Alex Ferguson were a phenomenon and a moment in time, and everything is cyclical.
Yeah.
And you're now in a situation where
I'm helping you with
thank you. Other clubs have got just as much money as you, and this is the reality of the world of football now. So again, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's easy to blame just the Glazers.